it's probably not going to come down to this. We'll let you hear what Tim McMahon, longtime NBA reporter, said again here in just a second. But 888-957-9570, who to you is easier to let go of as far as the Warriors' young assets, Kuminga or Podziemski? If you had to give up one, which one are you more comfortable giving up?
Podziemski. This is easy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
as much as I love the way the guy plays, as much as he's a basketball player, as much as he's a winning player, Kuminga's got way more talent and way more upside, in my opinion. Could be off.
These words are always so interesting to me.
Upside, potential.
Well, the word talent, I always, and I have a hard time with this sometimes, talent. Like we did this when Trey Lance and Brock Purdy were both here. Trey Lance has more talent in his pinky finger than Brock Purdy. Well, does he? What do you mean by that? I think people say the word talent and they mean raw athletic gifts. I think that's what they often mean by talent. And I would argue that's not talent. Talent is getting it done, dude. Talent is here's the job and we did it.
So Kuminga's doing that. Kuminga's putting it all together right in front of our eyes. And sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees.
I see at this point wonderful evidence of an improving player, a skilled player, a player who's willing to do the work, an exciting young player. There's been no evidence that it's attached to winning. None. I guess you'd say the same thing about Podziemski. He's only played 1 year.
Who, in your opinion, could dominate a game more?
Kuminga or Podziemski?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Kuminga.
I'm talking in the future as well.
Well, now let's...
Kuminga could take over a basketball game where I think Brandon's game is different, where he's going to hustle, he's going to dive, he's going to pass, he's going to make some shots, he's going to have good nights, he's going to have bad nights.
But see...
But like if I'm flying over the rim and I'm a high flyer, that's a force.
I hear you, but now let's pick apart the word dominate. Like, I'll give you an example. 10 years ago, Chris Paul was maybe the best point guard in the NBA. You would never look at Chris Paul and be like, dude, he is dominating the competition. You'd never say that because that's not the way Chris does it. He's not flying. He's not dunking. He actually was rarely the leading scorer on his team. But was he actually dominating? He was controlling the whole floor. Absolutely was the general. And Lob City, and people were in position, and others were flying. Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan are flying through the air and finishing dunks. Wow, Blake Griffin's dominating. Blake Griffin could not hold Chris Paul's jock when it comes to who's a better basketball player. Oh, but talent. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting at with Kuminga and what his future holds, and Pods and what his future holds. Obviously, Pods will never be able to fly and dunk and score probably like Jonathan Kuminga. But could he have a different effect on the game? I think that is not only possible, maybe even probable.
Yeah, I like the athleticism.
Of course.
I'm going to go with...
That's what we like to watch.
Kuminga all day.
Yeah,
Even though I love Pods. Like we had Steve on and we asked him, I said, Steve, he's just a basketball player, right? And he's like, yeah. And it's probably one of Steve's favorites, right? Because he plays the game the right way. He's hustling. You know what you're going to get on a nightly basis with him. He's going to give you effort. At the very least. He might have a great game, might have a oof game or whatever. And I think he's probably the guy that's working the hardest in the offseason right now to be the most improved whatever for the Warriors next year, to show people that he is an all-star. But like Kuminga's talent in how he's improved, I don't know that I've ever seen an NBA player in the course of his season improve right in front of my eyes more than Kuminga.
Well, part of that might have just been opportunity.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean. He was out there.
That's most of the battle.
Yeah, but and these guys come from their backgrounds could not be more different. Pods is already older than Kuminga. He played a bunch of college basketball. Kuminga did not. But Kuminga took 3 years to even get this opportunity. Pods took 3 weeks. There's something to be said for that. Like, he is a more polished player on the floor at what he does at a much quicker pace. You know what I mean? Like he walked in, and within a month, they're like, that's an NBA player. We're putting that guy on the floor right now. And I do think that there are plenty of indicators right now. I'll just call them indicators. This is not a report, but I think there are indicators that the Warriors are planning for Brandin Podziemski to be their starting two guard. That appears to be the plan to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. No?
I mean, Steve literally was on here the other day saying for the first time in I don't know how long, there are starting jobs open for the Warriors. Like, there are so many different ways with their current roster that you could lay this out. Who's starting? Who's the sixth man? Who's Steph Curry's backup? Who's handling it when Steph's out? You know, like, there are a lot of questions. If Pod starts, I'd argue it means either Kuminga or Wiggins won't. And I know people will be like, that's fine. Wiggins doesn't have to start, but okay.
Kuminga's starting, dude.
I would think.
That's a no-brainer.
I mean, so you're like...
That's a no-brainer.
Of course. I agree with you. But is it so it's Kuminga, Draymond, TJD, Pods, Curry?
Sure.
Boy, that's a young starting lineup.
Okay.
That's two old guys and three really young players.
Yeah.
Not saying you're wrong.
I mean, the West is so tough.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about records from last year to the year before, there was teams that maybe lost a couple of more games that missed the playoffs that were in the playoffs the year before just because the West is so deep. So, yeah, there's a lot of competition. And I don't know. I don't care about basketball in the offseason. I care when I want to see the team on the floor and let's go.
Yeah, but the offseason, man, this is like
it's fun.
They're putting it together.
What's fun is watching the guys play right now, the Olympic team play. That's what I'm into. I don't care about the offseason moves until they're made. Once they're made, then that's fun. Like, you make some moves, now we got something to talk about.
Yeah, but
like speculating?
Hey, we're sitting here.
Kill 4 hours.
You're sitting here talking about the trade deadline in baseball. What's the difference? Talking about roster construction.
But I don't even care about what the Giants do with like names. I care if they're going to, in general, sell or buy. But as far as like who they're trading for, and it could be Bo Bichette, it could be I don't know, name another guy. Whoever they're trading for, I never get into the personnel. And maybe this is a me thing because it's somebody's lives. We talk about trades like it's fantasy football. Like, hey, dude, I'm going to trade you for this guy. These are people that are established somewhere, that have a life somewhere, that have kids going to school somewhere, that go to another team. And I'm not trying to say it's hard, but it's hard for the player. These are people.
I think.
So I never get into like, well, let's trade Austin Slater.
And you can't ask for a fan to give a rip about that, though.
I know.
You could ask for a fan to understand that, and I think we should understand it. But
they're not chess pieces.
Nobody right now is like, if the Giants trade for Bo Bichette, the first thought is, oh my God, like, he's got to change countries.
He's got to change countries.
Holy hell.
How's he going to get through customs?
We're like, dude, is he going to find his swing back? Like, his OPS has never been below 800 in his career. This year it's below 600. What the hell's going on with that guy?
That's weird.
What is going on with that guy?
I don't know, man. I talked to some Blue Jays people, and they don't know.
Here's what we're talking about. Tim McMahon of ESPN on the Low Post Pod with regard to Jazz Warriors discussions.
Educated speculation. I think Podziemski would have to be in the deal. Obviously, you're talking about a ton of picks. I don't know how much the Jazz would press on Kuminga. I do think, like, if Podziemski's not in the deal, there wouldn't be a deal.
I would love to ask some follow-up questions because he calls it educated speculation, but I wonder why he firmly believes that Podziemski would matter more to the Jazz than Jonathan Kuminga. And it opens us up, Warrior fans, to ask which one of them is more important to you to keep going forward. Let's go to Chris in San Jose. FP is in for Dibs. Willard and Dibs. Hi, Chris. What's up?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing? Happy Friday.
Yep, you too.
Hey, yeah, Mark. I've been listening to you the last couple of days here, and it's really teetering on sounding like you have a vendetta against Jonathan Kuminga.
That's a wild statement. Yeah, that's a wild
I know you don't.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I think he hates Kuminga.
Do you want to talk or should?
What's that? I missed that.
You talking about JK or?
Yeah, go ahead, Chris. But I mean, but you presented it as a vendetta, Chris. That's absurd, and you know it. Like, that's all I'm saying. If you want to say, boy, I've been listening the last 2 days, and it really doesn't sound like you like Jonathan Kuminga a vendetta? Come on, Chris. No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, we're getting into the semantics here, Mark. You didn't let me finish before you started going on.
Well, it's my radio show, Chris. It's my radio show, so I'm going to reserve that right. But go ahead.
I gotcha. Well, I just think so. You don't have a vendetta, but it does sound a little bit like you're just. I don't know if you like to do the devil's advocate thing. I understand, radio is better when two people have differing opinions and you can go back and forth. But it's blasphemous that you just compared Brandin Podziemski to Chris Paul, a man that was a top 5
No, I didn't. Oh, my God. Good Lord, Chris. Chris, you're a hot mess, dude. I appreciate you for listening. Those were absolutely absurd points that you just made. And now I know why you think that I sound like I have a vendetta against Jonathan Kuminga, because you think I just compared Brandin Podziemski to Chris Paul. You need Q-tips, dude. I didn't compare Brandin Podziemski to Chris Paul. I compared the idea of when we talk about players as dominant versus when we talk about players as floor generals and which one is more important to winning basketball. Chris Paul was the most important player in Lob City. Blake Griffin gets the Kia commercial. Who do you think's a better basketball player? Who's a better basketball player? Chris Paul or Blake Griffin?
I think Jonathan Kuminga is better than both of them. And I'm serious.
You think Jonathan Kuminga he's better than Chris Paul?
A vendetta is a prolonged, bitter quarrel with a campaign against someone.
I have a vendetta against Chris in San Jose. That's where I have a vendetta.
Maybe you do now.
I mean, now, come on, man. Why am I not allowed to not think that Jonathan Kuminga is going to be an all-star?
A personal vendetta is a series of acts done by someone over a long period of time to cause harm to a disliked person or group. You don't like Jonathan Kuminga. You don't. I agree with him 100%.
Stop.
You have a vendetta against Jonathan Kuminga.
I mean,
I'll take Jonathan Kuminga all day over Pods.
Fine.
All day.
I don't.
You can. There's nothing you can say to ever change my mind.
And I'm not trying to change your mind.
All right.
But please,
stick to baseball.
Warrior fans, please don't act like saying I don't think Jonathan's going to be an all-star is some wild take. I promise you, if you put that up in a Vegas board right now, I guarantee you that's the favorite.
Oh, we're Googling.
Guaranteed that's the favorite. Do you know how hard it is to be an all-star in the league? I've sat here for the last 2 days, if not year, and said 100 times that Jonathan is a phenomenal young player and deserves incredible amounts of credit for the work that he puts in every offseason. And the fact that he did have to deal with something that I find very difficult in sports, which is that when you're a young, high draft pick, but you get, this is what Trey Lance had to deal with. When you're a young, high draft pick and you get picked into a situation that is currently trying to win a title, puts you in a crappy spot.
It's hard.
Because you don't get to develop as much as what the Bears are going to do with Caleb Williams this year. That's very difficult. I acknowledge that. And Jonathan has navigated that, and there's been bumps, and that's great. But the fact that a lot of you want to close your eyes to the fact that people run the other direction when he tries to shoot a three-pointer, they don't guard him, and he still only shot 32%. In the NBA in 2024, a wing player who really does not really have a developed three-pointer, and you're all acting like I'm wild for not thinking he's going to be an all-star.
Vendetta.
100%. Come on, man. That's all. Keep the conversation fair.
I don't need
And then
Kuminga.
We can have it.
We got in this disagreement during the basketball season. I don't need Kuminga to make threes. You think he has to be a three-point shooter.
I think he needs to be able to shoot the ball. If you want to be a star wing in the NBA, you need to be able to shoot the ball.
I think he what's his field goal percentage? Not 3-point percentage.
Field goal, that's
you knock one down, you knock one down. But I'm not thinking JK's got to make threes or else he's not good. I think of him as like a Dominique Wilkins kind of guy. The high flyer.
But the game is so changed since then.
True. It's moving out from the basket.
The game is so changed since then. Jonathan, I mean, if you're going to count all of his dunks, his field goal percentage last year was largely good. It was about 52.9%.
I rest
it's
my
very
case.
good.
I rest my case.
You can't rest your case.
I do.
His 3-point field goal percentage was 32, and that's bad.
Yeah, but who cares?
I do. If you want to be an all-star wing in the NBA, you better be able to shoot the rock. You got to shoot the rock.
He's not Klay Thompson, though.
He's
never
not
going to be Klay Thompson, and I don't think that could be like his fourth tool or something. But it's not like I need JK to make 3-pointers for the Warriors to be good. That didn't even cross my mind.
Okay, so let's just let's go back to the phones. But for fantasy's sake, let's go with your starting lineup. Okay, Steph is on the floor. Maybe it's Pods. Maybe it's DeAnthony Melton. Whatever. And I'm going to go with Kuminga, Draymond, and TJD all on the floor at the same time.
Sure.
What do you think the problem is with that?
There's not a lot of 3-pointers.
You got spacing problems up the wazoo.
Yeah.
Because on defense, I'm going, okay, we'll put 2 people on Steph, and the rest of us are just going to stand down here in the key and watch you brick.
Yeah. No, and then he'll hit Kuminga, and Kuminga will go right down the middle and dunk on everybody's ass.
They'll be waiting for him. No, he won't. He's not that good.
Yes, he is.
He can't just...
Vendetta. Chris was right. Chris, I hope you know that I'm with you 100%. Maybe Vendetta was the wrong one.
I hope that they all know that you're being sarcastic.
I'm being
Mark,
sarcastic.
you out here sounding like a hater, my brother.
Now that's different. I wouldn't have been bothered, but that was Filmo yesterday. That was Filmo, right? Yeah. You want you being a hater? Okay, that's fine. A vendetta. And now you're talking about comparisons I never made. We've got angry vegan in Richmond.
Oh, more angry people. Let's go.
Well, you're angry because you're vegan. Like you need a burger.
Oh, now we have a vendetta against vegan people.
Absolutely.
Apparently.
No, go. Hi, angry vegan. Welcome to the show.
Hey, man, I'm angry because of climate change. That's what causes climate change is beef, and it's going to affect all our kids. But anyway, I love JK. I don't want to trade him, but do not trade Pods. Do not trade Pods. We sort of really underestimate Pods here. There were only 2 rookies to lead their team in plus minus. Chet Holmgren and Pods. He has a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. He led the entire NBA as a rookie in drawn charges, and he hits 39% from 3 as a rookie. I mean, do not trade Pods no matter what. I'd hate to trade Jonathan also, but keep Pods above everything else.
Thank you very much, Angry Vegan, who makes a wonderful political statement as well. I think that's also a fair point. Now, listen, here's the thing, though.
So beef's making it hotter? I know. I don't want to get into politics because I steer clear of that.
I mean, there's
so cows are the reason it's 115 in Sacramento.
I mean, that's where the cows are.
You
ever been out to...
I knew that stunk when you drive to L.A., and that's
you
why
go by Harris Ranch?
Yeah, oh my God.
The fun moment when Abe, now 17, was like 3 years old, drove down Highway 5, and all of a sudden he starts looking around, and he goes, Dad. And he's touching his nose. Dad, what's in my nose? Mike, there's nothing in your nose.
You're like dead cows, son.
Yeah.
They're right there.
And then we talked about climate change for the rest of the drive down to LA. No. No,
it's 115 in Sacramento because of cows. They're not liking it either. Those cows.
Listen. Fans, you got to do this. We always fall in love with who we drafted, and I get that. But I hear this from a lot of fans. It's like, yeah, I would love Lauri Markkanen. No, but don't give up Kuminga, and don't give up Pods, and don't give up Moody, and don't give up, like, you're gonna have to give something up. And I can hear both answers on this one. You would trade Pods. I would trade Kuminga. Then again, if you listen to Tim McMahon, it's irrelevant. The Jazz don't even want Kuminga, or they wouldn't push for him, were his words. I think that's interesting. Let's go to Pat in Foster City. Hi, Pat. Thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, thanks for taking the call. Yeah, I agree with that last caller. I would sooner keep Pods than I would Kuminga. I mean, you look at these guys in their rookie year. Podziemski had an unbelievable rookie year. He was a stat stuffer, almost like a mini Draymond. He could score. He put up points. He did rebounds. He got assists. He took charges. I mean, he plays defense. He hustles. He's smart. You really, he doesn't have any glaring weakness whatsoever. He's just really a balanced basketball player, and he's confident, maybe overly confident, but he seems like he's delivering on that confidence. Whereas Kuminga, he's super athletic and highlight film. And if we were trying to put someone in the Harlem Globetrotters, it'd be Kuminga. It wouldn't be Podziemski, although he's got some great passing. But in terms of overall potential, to me, Podziemski is a much safer bet than Kuminga. Kuminga is a little bit still rolling the dice. I think about all these draft picks that the Warriors took over the last 25, 30 years, and how many guys do we take that were super athletic, jump out of the gym, and they were one and done and out of the NBA, never heard from them. So I think I would keep Podziemski Pods over Kuminga. I think that'd be the smart thing to do, in my opinion. So.
Pat, thank you for the call, and it does. Yeah, Grandy could read me the whole time. My heart skips a beat. I get so happy that we're not done with mispronunciations of Podziemski.
Yeah.
Like I thought,
you want the guy who can't say his name, and then you reference the other guy for Harlem Globetrotters. That wasn't a racist call at all.
Oh, wow. Well,
you can't say Kuminga Harlem Globetrotters. Come on, dude.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
That was.
I really see, and by the way, I really do hope. I hope that whole subject can stay out of this, because we've had to do this a few times with the idea, because we've heard this the last 2 years. Apparently, Kyle Shanahan and Steve Kerr at times have both been racist, because they will only elevate young white players as if their job is not directly tied to the success of their young players. I don't think that anybody would ever be an NBA coach if they were actually racist. But yes, I do not think Jonathan Kuminga should be brought up as a globetrotter that makes him sound like a sideshow.
Yeah.
He's not a sideshow. He's done a wonderful job of progressing. But I do think that you can have an educated conversation over which one of these projects for winning basketball more, affecting winning.
Kuminga.
And that's
he could dominate a game, and I watched him dominate games last year. I never saw Pods dominate. I'll take that back. I saw Pods have really good games, and I love the way he dives and scraps and claws and fights. It resonates with me. That's why I like him. He's a basketball player. But like, if I want a guy to dominate a game, it's Kuminga. And to just take charge, and he's fearless. He goes to the rim. He's got the turnaround jumper. He's got all the tools to be a superstar. And I don't know that if Pods will ever be a superstar, but he'll be a winning point guard and a guy that why can't you have them both? Why does it have to be either?
You can. You don't have to make a trade. You don't have to make a trade at all. We're presented by Fremont Bank, celebrating 60 years of full-service banking with no compromises. Who affects winning more, Draymond Green or Joel Embiid? Who affects winning more?
Embiid.
You think?
He's a better player. He's the best player. He's on the Olympic team, and Draymond's not.
4 rings, 4-0. How about that? I mean.